It was a quiet morning in 1995 when 15-year-old Melissa Moore woke up, unaware that her entire world was about to shatter. She was an ordinary teenager living in the peaceful town of Happy Valley, Oregon. Her father, Keith Hunter Jesperson, was her hero, a towering man with a warm smile. He was a long-haul truck driver, often away for days, but when he came home, he showered his children with affection. To Melissa, he was the dad who taught her how to ride a bike, the one who cheered the loudest at her school plays, and the one who gave the biggest bear hugs. But behind his friendly grin hid a darkness that no one could have imagined. One afternoon, Melissa came home from school to find her mother sitting at the kitchen table, pale and trembling. Her voice shook as she spoke. "Melissa, your dad's been arrested. He's the happy face killer." Time seemed to freeze. The room spun. Her father wasn't just arrested. He was accused of murdering 8 women. Women he strangled, discarded, and then mocked the police by sending anonymous confession letters to newspapers, signing them with a smiling face. Melissa's heart pounded. Her mind screamed, "No! Not Dad!" He couldn't. He wouldn't. But the truth was inescapable. The man who tucked her in at night, who told Dad jokes on road trips, who made pancakes on Sundays, was a monster. The media swarmed their small town. Camera crews parked outside their house. Classmates whispered. Parents pulled their kids away from Melissa and her siblings as though they carried their father's sins. Melissa was no longer just a teenage girl. She was the serial killer's daughter. For years, Melissa wrestled with the memories. She replayed her childhood, searching for signs she might have missed. The late nights, his strange moods, the time he killed a stray cat with his bare hands and told her, "This is what happens when things don't behave." She had been too young to understand what that meant. One day, long after his arrest, Melissa worked up the courage to visit him in prison. She needed answers. Her father sat across from her, chained to the floor. He looked at her with the same familiar eyes, the eyes of the man who once taught her how to swim. But now they felt empty, hollow. "Why, Dad, how could you do this?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper. Keith leaned in and smiled, his voice low and cold. "I was good at it, Melissa. It made me feel powerful." The father she loved was gone. Or maybe, she realized, he was never there to begin with. Melissa left that prison a different person. She couldn't erase the past. She couldn't change who her father was. But she could change who she would become. Years later, Melissa broke her silence. She wrote a memoir, Shattered Silence, exposing the raw, painful truth of what it meant to be the daughter of a serial killer. She spoke openly about the trauma, the shame, and the struggle to reclaim her own identity. But she didn't stop there. She connected with other children of infamous criminals, the forgotten victims, helping them process their grief and pain. She became a voice for those silenced by guilt and fear. Melissa's story even inspired a chilling crime drama series called Happy Face, exploring the twisted, manipulative bond between her and her father. She wasn't just surviving anymore, she was thriving, turning her darkest nightmare into a beacon of hope for others. Her story leaves us with haunting questions. How well do we really know the people we love? And when the truth finally comes to light, how do you survive knowing that the person you trusted most was hiding a monster inside?